Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pete Perspective. My name is Pete, and I just want to say welcome to the channel. Called the Pete Perspective because I just share my perspective on different topics surrounding design, branding, graphic design, programs that I use, my process, all of that, and much more to come. But if you like the channel, if you've been enjoying the content, man, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I would encourage you to do so, and hit the notification bell if you wouldn't mind, so that you can get more videos just like this when they release. Hoping to do it every week, if not every 2 weeks for sure. But listen, before you jump into any logo project, any branding project, whether it's just a logo, whether it's a brand at large, whatever you do, even a brand refresh, even if you're just simply refreshing your existing brand, before you do that, caution, tread lightly, because I want you to know this one thing, actually multiple things, a couple things, but this video is going to talk you and walk you through what you should know before jumping into any project of that kind. So stay tuned for more, and we're gonna jump in. Listen, you may be an entrepreneur, you may be a business owner, you might be launching something new. Whatever your circumstances are, you need to know that your brand is a lot like a house. All right, so your brand is a lot like a house. Now you might say, what do you mean? My brand is my brand. My brand is my logo. My brand is my colors. My brand is the way people feel when they see those things, right? Yes and no. Your brand is a lot like a house in the sense that you could build a really great house, but if it's not on a solid foundation, your house is gonna end up falling apart, right? So that's not good. We wanna make sure that we're building a house that is on a solid foundation, but the house itself is also beautiful. So if your brand identity is a lot like a house, then I would say your brand strategy is a lot like the foundation of that house. Without a good foundation, your brand is really compromised in a lot of ways, right? So without a good strategy, without a good brand strategy, your brand identity is really compromised, in the sense that you might not know why you exist. You might not know who you exist for. You might not know a bunch of different things that you really should know as a brand. You should know, hey, we exist to blank, right? We exist to reach blank. Our goal is blank. Our mission is blank. Our characteristics are blank. You should know some of these things before you just jump into a brand identity. So I just want to distinguish really quickly between those two. Again, we have brand identity up here. We have brand strategy down here. Brand strategy, I would say, is, as it relates to this specific analogy, brand strategy is the foundation of the home, and brand identity is the home itself. So you, like I said, you could have a really strong foundation and build a beautiful house on it. That's best case scenario. But the two ways that you could really mess this up, and I want to explain this to you, is that let's say, for example, you built a really beautiful house on a foundation that was shaky, right? A quicksand type of foundation where it's kind of just always shifting and moving. You might have a beautiful house, but it's compromised in the sense of the experience that you're going to be able to give the people that you're ultimately trying to reach. And vice versa is true as well. You can build a beautiful foundation that's strong and sturdy and could support a really big, functional, beautiful house. But if you build a really ugly house and it's terrible, it's not going to be inviting, right? So if you think about the house in the sense that your logo is the door, I'm going to go really deep into this analogy, so stick with me. Don't get lost. We're Inception now, okay? Your logo is the door. So you could have a really beautiful door, but in the same way, if I walk through that door and your rooms are crummy, right? There's roaches crawling around and you haven't really done anything, and it's like none of it's up to date and modern, and it's just a bad experience. So you could have a really nice door and a really bad experience regardless. You could have a really nice logo and a really bad employees, right? Bad processes. As if I walk into your ice cream shop and all your employees are grumpy, like those are bad experiences. Those are ugly rooms, even though you might have a really nice door. It's so important to consider all these things, right? We don't need just one, we need all of it. And if we don't take the time, like you could go on Fiverr, you could hire some kid to design just a great logo for you, and you could take that logo and apply it to your business. And when you apply it, you don't know how to apply it. So therefore, your logo in and of itself, it's a decent logo, but you haven't applied it in the right ways, right? You're not carrying that the same way you would carry a color through. If you had an accent color in your house, you would carry that color throughout the house so that there's continuity in the home. I want the home to feel like one piece and not just each room is just super eclectic and has its own style. I mean, like, that might work for some people, but ultimately when it comes to a consistent and cohesive brand experience, you really want to make sure that the entire house, your entire brand identity, that they're having a consistent brand experience. So going back to the original analogy, you have strategy as the foundation, you have a really great house, which is the brand identity. It's called brand identity because it's the way that people identify your brand. It's easy when you think about it, because you hear these terms, brand identity, but then you think like, it's just an identifier. The identity is a mark, is colors, is all these different things that when someone sees those things, they respond, right? So when I see the Nike logo sitting on that really cool black, just solid black, I'm just like, I feel energetic. I feel the motivation. I feel the grit. It evokes emotion in me. And that's brand. Brand happens internally. It's the feeling that we get when we're exposed to the actual brand identity or trademarks or logo marks. The entire house is the identity at large. The foundation is the strategy. The logo is the door. And then I would say room by room, you can fill in the blanks with what your rooms are. So for example, I gave the ice cream analogy earlier, but like maybe one of those rooms is just your customer service, your client experience. Maybe another room is your leadership and like your process. How do, when people come to you for photos, videos, whatever service you provide, you know, are they coming to you? What is that process like? What is that journey that you're taking them on? Those are the things where you need to start. Yeah, sure, maybe you start with the logo, right? Maybe you start with the door, but then you also need to give really good attention to some of those other rooms so that when someone comes over to your hypothetical analogy house, they're having a great brand experience. And brand experience encompasses all of that. So it's your logo, it's your rooms, it's the house, is it on a good foundation? If you can get all of those things kind of at a good place, again, it doesn't need to be perfect. We're not looking for perfect. None of us are perfect. At a point, there's a threshold of like, yeah, that's quality. And people know quality when they see it, in the same way people sniff out fake when they see it, right? Same thing is true as it applies to your brand. If you have a really great brand, but a really bad experience, people aren't gonna come back. People they don't care if you have a great brand, terrible experience. But if you have a great why, right? Simon Sinek says people start with why. People buy your why. Why do you do it? Why do you do it? It's the same reason why Apple eliminated the chargers this year in the iPhone 12s, and they said it was to be eco-friendly because by 2030 they want their carbon footprint would be zero or whatever. So like if you're someone who values that, like you can get behind that why and say, actually I don't need a charger. Actually I have 10 chargers sitting at home. I don't need that charger, and you buy into their why, and then you're just you're an advocate for them as opposed to just a customer. So all that to say, guys, I know I jumped around through a lot of analogies at you, but what I want you to walk away with is that before you jump into that logo project, before you jump into that brand identity project, just know that there's value to strategy. There's value to taking time to figure that stuff out. It might not be the most fun. It might not be like the colorful type stuff, like all the things that we want to get to even as designers and as a customer or a client of yours. But man, starting with the strategy and the foundation is what you build upon to create an entire brand experience. Without that foundation, you are compromising your brand. And so you need to know this when you're going to create your new brand or your new business or your new logo. You need to have an understanding and value these things, because it is what it's gonna set you apart from everybody else who's trying to do the same thing. All right, so hey, if you found this video valuable and you got a little bit, even a nugget of value, I want you to hit that like button, share this video with a friend, again, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos just like this one. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Your perspective matters, so does mine. I'll see you guys on the next Peak Perspective. All right, take care.